صباح الخير كمان بالعربي واهلا وسهلا. So I just want to welcome everyone to the first biennial Global Health Forum organized by the Global Health Institute at the American University of Beirut. The Global Health Forum, this round aims to draw special attention to global health challenges, especially those that are affecting the global south. And the topic that we selected this year specifically is in innovations in global health. The main reason we thought about that topic is I believe you all have heard of the digital divide between the global north and the global south. What we're trying to do at the Global Health Institute with our partners, with all of you, is try as much as possible to prevent an innovative divide, where mostly we have the global north innovating, and we in the global south, particularly in this part of the world, receiving those innovations without the ability to contribute to how they are shaped, how they are applied, and how they are contextualized. So this is one of the strategic goals is to start that dialogue with partners, with you, with the global health community. So in the opening remarks, I'm not supposed to say lots of things, so I'll just go ahead and introduce our two distinguished speakers in this session. I'll say a few words about their bio, and then I'll add a few personal thoughts about my impression of them and their organization. So I will start with Keith Martin. Keith is the founding executive director of the Consortium of Universities for Global Health, which is based in Washington, D.C. The consortium is a rapidly growing organization of over, I believe now, 171 academic institutions from all over the world with a focus on global health. He served previously as a member of Parliament in Canada's House of Commons. He also served as Canada's Parliamentary Secretary for Defense. So Dr. Martin has been on numerous diplomatic missions to areas in crisis, including Sudan, Zimbabwe, Mali, Niger, Sierra Leone, Colombia. So he's been around, and the Middle East, of course. And he served as a physician in South Africa on the Mozambique border during that country's civil war. He has traveled widely in Africa and visiting the continent 26 times. What we're trying to do with this forum is having him visit this region at least to match that of the visits to Africa. So this is the bio of Keith. Now let me tell you a little bit about some of my personal reflections. First of all, for those who do not know, the Consortium for Universities and Global Health is now one of the leading associations of global health in the world. And that would not have happened without Keith's leadership, without Dalal Najjar's active efforts. And they have been so generous and supporting to us. And the reason why we wanted to do this forum in partnership with them is because exactly for the exact same reason that I mentioned when I started the talk, which is we want to bring global health to this part of the world, and we want to bring this part of the world closer to global health. So I would like to personally thank Keith for his support of the Global Health Institute for this forum, and we are very happy that he is here with us at the American University of Beirut. Keith, the floor is all yours.
Shukran Shadi. Sabah el Khair Mahaba. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Shadi, for your very kind comment. It is a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be here today on behalf of the Consortium of Universities for Global Health to welcome you to the first but not the last Global Health Forum here at AUB. This is actually a propitious moment, not only because this is the first event, but probably many of you saw coming in that this is also the 150th anniversary for AUB, and that's a fantastic achievement. But there's two great things that have happened, and we just discovered it. Naima and I were talking this morning that just a couple of days ago, and this is a huge accolade, Shadi, to you and everybody here at the university, AUB just won an award from the WHO, the World Health Organization, because AUB is the first academic institution in the Middle East to be tobacco-free. So really, congratulations. Now, the genesis of this actually happened at our CUGH's annual conference, which we held in New York this year, and we're very privileged that Dr. Sala is AUB's representative on our board. This is the first time we have had an institution from the MENA region on our board, and this is, for us, a great honor and also just the start of a relationship that will continue for many more years to come. But I also want to say that having put on a conference for many years, all of you know who have done this, that what you see is a bit like an iceberg, right? This is the 20%, but 80% of what you see is all the things that happen behind it. So I want to actually, along with Dr. Saleh, really thank so many people who made this happen and put up with our emails for a long time. So please, if you're sitting, standing, some of you behind here will come out in a second, but I really want to thank Maria, Noha, Mirel, Noor, Marilyn, Yana, and all of the other volunteers that you'll see today. They worked tirelessly along with Dr. Sala to make this happen. So please put your hands together to thank them. Now, the goal of this forum, as Dr. Saleh mentioned, is really to deal with some of the compelling challenges of our time. And the fact that we're here in the Middle East, I think, is obviously extremely important, because what the challenges that you see worldwide are also seen here in Lebanon. And you have, based on your history, based on what is happening today, an extraordinary opportunity to bring together not only academia, but INGOs, the private sector, and others to come together to deal with some of the big challenges. And NCDs, non-communicable diseases, and other social determinants of health are probably a lot of what we are going to see today. Dalal, our deputy director, who is here today, we had the privilege of traveling yesterday to Phoenicia University in South Lebanon, where all of you here probably know that South Lebanon has challenges from NCDs, a lack of healthcare access, pollution, waste management, issues not peculiar to Lebanon, but global in nature. And I just want to thank those of you from Phoenicia that this was a great chance for us to see what you're doing, and also to see again that in this country as around the world, these are challenges that affect everyone. So our aspiration, ladies and gentlemen, today, for the next 2 days, is when you see that there are more than 20 countries represented here, leaders from around the world, that this is a start for us to collaborate, a start to us to communicate, a start to bring collaborations together, a start to partner, to be able to influence policies, to bring together governments, NGOs, the private sector, and others to deal with the compelling challenges we face, and in particular, to improve the health and welfare of those who are least privileged in this world. Finally, I hope that you will come from here and travel to Chicago, March 7th to 10th, to come to our Global Health Conference, where we will be working with Dr. Saleh, members of the team here today, to build on what you're creating here today in Beirut, so we can work forward to achieving the goals we all here hold dear to our heart. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful 2 days.
Now, it's a great honor for me to introduce Mr. Filippi Lazzarini. Again, bio and some personal reflections. So Mr. Lazzarini has over 30 years of experiences in leadership positions within the United Nations, the private sector, and the International Committee of the Red Cross. Since August 2015, he has been assigned, or he has assigned by the UN Secretary General as the Deputy UN Special Coordinator for Lebanon, UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator for Lebanon, and the UN Development Program Resident Representative. Prior to that, he held a number of senior positions in the United Nations for the coordination of humanitarian affairs and in various field positions in Iraq, Angola, Somalia, and the occupied Palestinian territory. Philippe worked at the Union Bancaire Privée in Geneva, I hope that I'm pronouncing that right in French, where he promoted the corporate social responsibilities and ethical investment agenda of the bank and served as head of its marketing department. He also worked for 10 years with ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross, as the deputy head of communication, head of the delegation in Rwanda, Angola, and Sarajevo, and as an ICRC delegate in Southern Sudan, Jordan, Gaza, and Beirut. bio, my personal remarks. The thing that has always impressed me about Felipe, and I'm sure that by now everybody is impressed by what Felipe is doing in Lebanon with Lebanon, his modesty always, is that whenever we went to him and told him about something that we're doing at AUB or at the Global Health Institute, he always understood in 5 seconds exactly why we are doing this. This is for me something that stands out because I hope there are quite a bit of UN employees and WHO employees amongst us, but this is sort of a rare feature in many of the folks that we talk, especially those who have a wide umbrella of responsibilities as Felipe does. So Felipe, I want to thank you personally for always understanding us and supporting AUB and the Global Health Institute. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Shadi, for your kind words. It's true that I like to come here to AUB, but it seems that each time I come here, I learn something new. I didn't know that AUB was the first university tobacco-free, which definitely is a good news. The bad news being that it seems you are the only one in this region. So I really hope that others will follow. And maybe just the second point, sure, I started 30 years ago. I started my career in Beirut, in fact. So I was one of these people who witnessed the end of the civil war, or the last chapter of the civil war in this country. So yes, it is a privilege to come to this first Global Health Forum. And it's always intimidating to talk to experts when you are not an expert on a given subject. But I have an office which has worked quite a lot, so let me share a few remarks with all of you. We know that over the past decades, the world has made great progress against several of the leading causes of death and disease. Life expectancy has increased dramatically. Infant and maternal mortality have declined greatly. We have turned the tide on the HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria epidemics, and we could list many more successes. Inspired by significant achievement in global health, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development supports our ambition to complete the unfinished business of the MDG and to address a new set of global health priorities. The Sustainable Development Goal number 3, to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages, is bold and contains 13 targets, including the transformative goal of universal health coverage. While the world has made remarkable progress on several fronts in health, many challenges remain. Among them is addressing disparities between people's health in stable countries and the health of people living in fragile and vulnerable settings, and health disparities within countries. Let me give you a few examples. Dramatic gains in life expectancy have been made globally since 2000, but there remain a 30 years discrepancy between the countries with the shortest and the longest life expectancies, going from Lesotho to Japan. On average, the life expectancy is low, and middle-income countries is 10 years less compared to high-income countries. When it comes to maternal mortality, it has been reduced by 45% since 1990. But over 300,000 women still died from complications of pregnancy and childbirth in 2015. Nearly 2/3 of this occurred in countries affected by an humanitarian crisis or in fragile setting. On the 5, mortality has improved dramatically, yet each year more than 5.5 million children die before reaching their 5th birthday, with the majority coming from middle and low-income countries. Maternal and child malnutrition remain important underlying factor of this excess mortality. So we have turned around the HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria epidemics globally, but they remain leading causes of death in low and middle income countries. Let me stop here. I could go on, but the reality is we are off track to achieve this ambitious goal by 2030. So, ladies and gentlemen, achieving SDG 3 to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages in low and middle income countries will require bold leadership from states and the engagement of development partners, civil society, the academia, as you are, and the private sector. We must therefore recalibrate and amplify our effort, or we will not even come close to reaching many of the health-related targets by 2030. Let me elaborate on a few key principles which I believe could lead some of our effort. Firstly, primary health care is key to achieving SDG 3. According to WHO, a basic package of primary care services could prevent more than 3 million deaths among women and children every year. We need to find innovative solutions to increase access to primary health care, including for the one left further behind. In Lebanon, for example, the Ministry of Public Health is in the process of expanding the primary health care network progressively, including through non-governmentally managed facilities to increase access to subsidized basic health services in the most underserved area of the country. Secondly, the right to health extends far beyond the health sector. Achieving SDG 3 means more than just improving healthcare. It involves action in other areas, such as the environment sector. Take Lebanon's solid waste crisis as an example. It started to hit local and international headlines in 2015. Illegal dumpsite and burning of trash, unsanitary landfill throughout the country, coupled with a total absence of law enforcement, are contaminating air and water sources and are leading to the emission of toxic gases such as carbon dioxide. This seriously affects the nerves and immune system and might also cause a number of cancer. And we recently saw in the newspaper the significant increase of cancer cases here in the country. So any action on health needs also to mobilize non-health partners and ensure a wall-of-government mobilization for health and well-being. In this regard, I'm encouraged to see that this forum will focus on initiatives and approaches addressing 5 additional SDGs, including quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, and partnership for the goals. And I hope that in the future conferences, SDGs related to the environment will also be discussed when it comes to health. Thirdly, one of the most effective ways to reach the SDG 3 and health-related target is to mobilize adequate resources for health. Increasing the allocation of domestic resources in national budget to the health sector will be critical in this regard. This will require a continued dialogue with government and mainly with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that adequate resources be allocated to this sector. Moreover, continuous investment in innovative financing model will be key to complement national resources and grant money provided by donor countries. For example, hybrid financing instrument, including loan buy downs, provide important opportunities to mobilize additional large-scale resources for middle-income countries. For example, the Global Concessional Financing Facility, which recently endorsed a 150 million concession loan to straighten, has been provided to Lebanon to straighten its health sector. And this is certainly one of the examples on how innovative we can be when it comes to financial tools. Finally, achieving the goal of healthy lives and well-being for all can be accelerated through investment in research and innovation. A recent report issued by a leading group of health nonprofit organizations, I'm sure that many of you are part of this network, warned that the Sustainable Development Goal will not be achieved without the development and introduction of new and improved health technologies to address the health need of the world's poorest people. For example, meeting the target of ending the epidemic of tuberculosis by 2030 will require new, effective drugs to treat the growing problem of multi-drug resistance or to tuberculosis. Likewise, without new tools to treat and prevent HIV transmission, the scale-up of existing tools will prove insufficient to achieve the end to HIV/AIDS by 2030. So, ladies and gentlemen, institutions like the Global Health Institute at the American University in Beirut play an important role in leading the way to find innovative solutions to today's global health challenges. Today's Global Health Forum, which is jointly organized by the Global Health Institute and the Consortium of Universities, it's quite impressive, 20 countries being part of it, is an expression of this dynamism and initiative, and I do believe it needs to be applauded. So I look forward to learning more about the outcome of this forum, and has the president, sorry, I forgot your name, as Mark say, it's the first of a series, and I hope AUB will continue to lead and show the way for that. So thank you very much.
With this, I declare the Global Health Forum 2018 open, I guess.